welcome to another episode of N7RBP's videos. Been a little while since I posted a video, but I had a guy not too long ago request a tour of my shack. He said it'd be really nice if you could do a tour of your shack and kind of give us a rundown of what you got. So I think what I'm going to do is just that. I'm going to give you guys a rundown of my shack, and hopefully it won't be too long here. We'll try to make it as quick as possible, but as informative as possible. So here we go. So coming into my shack, it is in my laundry room. And this is an overall of it here. And we'll just kind of start from left to right and give you the old ABC tour. So starting right here, we have my System Fusion Wires X screen up right now, and that is being run by this little FTM 100 radio, and it's connected to the computer via the cable, what is it, SCU 20 cable, and that's plugged right into the USB port of this computer, and fires right up, works. System Fusion Wires X just perfectly. And as you can see on the wall behind the computer here, I've got a collection of just a small portion of my QSL cards, and just a few, some interesting ones over the years. And then coming further to the right, got a few headphones on the wall there. This is the ham clock. Ham clock is a pretty useful little device. It's run on a Raspberry Pi. The Raspberry Pi is behind it here. There's the Raspberry Pi, as you can see, and basically gives me time, call sign, satellites. You can choose your satellites. Right now I'm zeroed in on X-Ray Whiskey 2 Delta. It's going to rise in 2 hours and 12 minutes. It's going to be a pass clear to the eastern boundary. Probably not much to work there. But solar flux index, current temperature, I've got it zeroed in on my QTH. Number of sunspots, beacons throughout the world. You can see a few beacons here. There's a beacon, there's a beacon, there's a beacon, there's a beacon, and that pretty much does that. I've got my THD74 Kenwood sitting there, a great little handheld radio. And then coming down here, we've got the Pi Star is running right now on here, and we've also got satellites. We've been working satellites here lately, and the satellites are, I work, let's see here, Ham Radio Deluxe is my tracking software. But my regular software for actually running the antenna is SatPack 32, which you can see here, and that runs my Yaesu G5400B azimuth and elevation rotator. And that works really well. So coming back down here, back to my computer, and down here just a little ways, I've got my IC 7100. The screens are all a little overexposed, it looks like. But this radio I typically I can use for anything and everything, as IC7100s can. Right now I'm running it typically on Pi-Star, using that radio for Pi-Star. Coming around here, we've got my very first HF radio, the FT101 Echo Echo, and it's worked a lot of contests, worked a lot of QSOs in the past, and a good portion of these QSL cards, a good number of them were worked on that FT101. So, just kind of a blast from the past from that little guy. Then coming around here, we've got my antenna tuner. This is the Pal-Star. It's an older Pal-Star. It's a inductor tuner that it's manual, it's not automatic, but it works really, really well. It'll tune up a spaghetti noodle.
Satellite call for beam rising.
Works quite well. And my software just told me that CAS4B is rising. And coming around further, we've got my IC9700. It's right now tracking satellites, and the Doppler is moving back and forth, tracking the frequency of the satellite. And then the microphone you see here, right here, this is my HF microphone. This is a Heil PR40 microphone, and I get excellent unsolicited audio reports from that microphone on my FTDX 3000. That's my main voice HF rig, and it's attached over here to my AL 811 600 watt amplifier, and it's used on and off occasionally, so when I need it, and it works really, really well as well. Also in the back here, you see a TNC and a little Kenwood radio that runs my packet station that's on 24/7, and I do VHF WinLink and APRS from that, and it's always working. It's a little workhorse. And then right on top of my 9700 here, I've got a Uniden, what is the model of that here? BCD 536 HP scanner. And that's a digital scanner. It picks up digital. Our local law enforcement is digital at this point in time, not analog anymore. So it picks up the digital police and everything else you can think of that's not encrypted. Encrypted is the name of the game these days. A lot of people are going encrypted, but anything that's not encrypted, it picks up. Then coming down here, we've got another Heil microphone. This is the ICM Heil microphone, and that is connected to my IC9700 UHF, VHF, and 1.2 gig radio. Get great audio reports with that Heil microphone as well. And then this is an older satellite rig. This is the Yaesu FT736R. I haven't used it too much since I got my 9700, but it's a good workhorse. It's got 2 meters, 440, 220, and 6 meters. All mode, sideband, AM, FM, the full meal deal. And I've got a little signal link here, sound card that runs my, or that is attached to my FT2000 Yaesu. And this FT2000 is my digital radio. I've got it hooked up specifically for digital. If I run digital, everything is run through the FT2000 and the Signal Link sound card. If I run voice, I'm running the FT-DX3000. And that works really, really well also. FT8 and WSJT X, FL Digi, the whole digital format there. Then coming down, we have a little Bridgecom. There we go, a Bridgecom 223.5 is what I'm on right now, and we have a small group of us that run 220 FM on the calling frequency of 223.5. And down here, you'll see my 50 amp power supply that when I'm connected to grid current, that thing works. It's been on, I don't know, 24/7 for the last 20 years. Hasn't skipped a beat. It works really well. And then I've got a set of Heil Pro 7 headsets here that I typically have connected to my HF voice radio, the FT-DX3000. So then coming over here, we've got some antenna switches. We've got the Delta 4 antenna switches that are switching both radios and antennas. And then back here we've got more switches for radios. This is a radio switch, and then I've also got back here I've also got another switch that if I ever have a stroke and try to recoup, I'll never be able to remember how to run all this stuff if I have a stroke. And then looking up here is my internet setup, my router, my modem, and an old Lollipop FT104, FT104D, there we go, 104D microphone for looks more than anything else. But it
Satellite Charlie Alpha Sierra 4 Alpha is not visible.
That's my ham radio deluxe telling me that I've already missed the satellite. It's gone now. So that's basically it. That's N7 RBP's shack in a box, and it works really well for me. I enjoy my radio station. Another thing that I can't do without is SDR Uno, the software that you're looking at right now, along with the SDR Play SDR receiver. And that SDR Play I've got underneath my bench here, but it is, I don't know if you can see it down there. Yeah, there it is. That's the SDR Play right there. And it's attached to my FT-DX3000. Having a hard time there. It's attached to my FT-DX3000, and again, it's feeding the SDR Play through the RX out port on the 3000, and then bringing it right over to my computer, and you got a picture of the whole band on a big screen. I just can't do without it. I just cannot do without the big screen pan adapter on HF. Stand by, I'll take you out and give you a real short rundown of my antenna farm. Okay, I almost forgot, on my way out to show you my antenna farm, my shack is run for the last year, or actually the last 5 years, but within the last year, I've upgraded it considerably, the solar system, and it's run 24/7 now. And this is my solar system the inside portion of it. I've got 3 solar panels up on the roof that are just under 1,000 watts. But there's a controller, and got 400 amp hour Battle-Born batteries that store the energy, and it runs through my 2,000 watt inverter, and the inverter feeds my transfer box, which controls 6 of my most needed circuits in the house. So my solar system controls not only my ham radio shack, but all the electronics within my shack. And well, let's see here. A is the freezer, B is the back bedrooms and ham shack, C is the bathrooms, D is the furnace. We have natural gas, so the furnace, everything electric that runs the furnace works just fine. Kitchen ceiling lights, master bedroom, and F is the kitchen refrigerator. So it runs everything that's important off of these batteries and my solar panels. If we ever have a grid down situation, it will be handled without any problem. Okay, now back out to the antenna farm. Okay, there is my satellite antennas. That's a little elk dual band log periodic that covers 2 meters and 440. And then I've got a 1.2 gigahertz 22 element antenna there for the 1.2 gig on my 9700. And then you can't see it, but there's a wire that goes all the way across my yard over here, and it's up in this tree, and that's a Carolina Windom that covers 80 through all the HF bands, again, including 6 meters. And I live in an antenna restricted neighborhood, so I've got 6 or 7 antennas in that tree, which you can't see, but they're there. And I've got a 11 element 2 meter beam there. I've got a disc cone scanner antenna. I've got a mesh system radio up there. I've got over here, I've got a 220 vertical 220 beam, and then another elk above that, another elk pointed over towards the Rogue Valley Manor for my HF WinLink. And then I've got a tri-band vertical 2 meter 440 and 6 meters, and a 10 meter vertical. And then I've also got a copper J-pole over there that my packet radio is attached to. So, and then on the ground here, which I occasionally hook up, is my 6 meter Yagi. So there we go. That's the antenna farm. Oh, also starting clear over there at the end of my fence and coming all the way along my fence line, here, and all the way down to the end of my backyard, and around the corner is a 160 meter dipole stapled to the top of the fence. And it works quite well for 160 meters for something as compromised as this. But you can see there's the center of it. It's stapled to the top of the fence, and I do really quite well with that, amazingly. So there you go. That is N7 RBP's shack. I hope you enjoyed this tour, and we'll try to put a few more videos up a little more frequently. 73s, N7 RBP out. And I almost forgot, I've got a mesh system here, an Arden mesh system that runs on this little computer, and the antenna and the radio was on the mast of my satellite antenna, if you look back towards that. And then also, this is my Raspberry Pi, which is running a DVAP for my Pi Star, and that's being powered by my laptop there right now. And that's what was being used on the Pi Star program on the computer in the other room. So that's how I access all the digital reflectors via internet if I'm not using the actual D-Star repeaters or the Yaesu System Fusion local repeaters. That's it for digital.
You make me